Every household has some goals, each of which comes with a price tag. To fulfill these goals, one has to have income. This income comes through various patterns and sources. It can be regular and certain, like for a salaried worker. Or it can be certain but irregular, as in the case of a farmer who gets a certain seasonal income, but the quantum may vary depending on the yield that season. It can also be irregular and uncertain, like for a daily wage laborer who may or may not get work on a given day. At every point in time, one tries to balance out the expenses attached to the goals with their income. A household has different kinds of income, classified based on regularity. It varies from regular income, like salary, which may be daily, weekly, or monthly, to a windfall such as lottery, which is quite unexpected. A family's goals also vary depending on how frequently they need to be met and the size of the price tag attached with them. They may be routine goals, which need to be fulfilled on a regular basis, such as food. Apart from this, there's a pool of extraordinary goals, such as land or jewelry, that are more aspirational in nature. They try to meet routine goals using the more liquid assets generated through their regular income. It could be a problem if the regular income is too high, which they might get tempted to waste, or if it's not enough, in which case they would need to find ways to make ends meet. Meanwhile, they're also creating buffers of assets or instruments which might be useful in the longer term. The buffer can be used to achieve bigger goals or to fall back on in times of need. These assets are goals first and then form part of the buffers. To maintain balance, achieve goals, and counter emergencies, families employ a range of strategies. One such strategy is income shaping, where they change or shape the form of their income. Take the example of Dinesh, the tailor. He puts away a portion of his income monthly in a recurring deposit account with a post office for his child. This way he is lumping some of his regular income and converting it into a windfall which he will get lump sum after a certain period. Similarly, people use other products such as Rosca, LIC, fixed deposit to create windfall income. Dinesh's income is irregular, but his expenditures are not. To meet these regular expenses, he has procured a cow. It is a source of milk, which his family can consume as well as sell to routinize his income. A vegetable patch or a brood of chicken or any other productive asset serves the same purpose for some families. Dinesh's son, who works in the city, occasionally sends him money. Dinesh prefers to store this windfall as a buffer for the future rather than spend it on daily needs. Alongside shaping income, families are working on resolving goals. The routine ones are met by regular income. The extraordinary ones are more fuzzy in nature, and there are certain triggers that make them pop out above the rest. Sarita, the housewife, for example, saw all the women in her village carrying mobile phones. Knowing that she had some money saved up in her account, she bowed to the social pressure and decided to go ahead and buy the phone. When she was building the additional room in her house, she felt she was ready when she had enough money and was confident that borrowing a little in addition to her current reserves would help her and add that extra room to her house. Recently, her daughter's wedding date was fixed. The proximity of the event sent her scurrying to gather funds and materials to prepare for the big day. She borrowed plenty of money from various sources, which she will now have to repay. This way, she has routinized her daughter's wedding expense through debt. Another step she took was investing in her daughter's education. This routine expense has paid off because she does not have to pay as much dowry as she is offering an educated girl. So the resolution of goals is a function of social pressure, size of buffer, and proximity to the event. There are times when people are not able to maintain the balance or have an emergency that they need to cope with. At such times, they employ strategies around materializing stores of value. Dheeraj is a daily wage laborer. He suddenly needed a large sum of money to treat his son's illness. Lacking reserves and unable to borrow, he resorted to pawning jewelry because he could extract value while maintaining its integrity. His neighbor, who's also a daily wage laborer, rears goats on the side. He was once in a similar predicament. To meet the expense, he sold a few goats as they are easy to sell and reconstitute their value. There is a mental separation about what buffers people use to resolve different needs. For example, Dheeraj would have never pawned that jewelry to buy a fridge or a television. There's a certain pull that attempts to disrupt this fine balance amongst the income, instruments, and goals. There are situations that create a sense of emergency and divert all of the household's resources in overcoming it. At the same time, there are opportunities that can be captured, which might help counter the pull and restore balance to the system.